we'll move on to the forecast here. Again, we went over the weather headlines. Isolated pop-up shower today, typical August warmth, 80s, low 90s for the rest of this week, and then a mostly dry weekend. There's just no real storm systems to give us any widespread rainfall. So this is kind of your ag report right now. I messaged my big farmer friend Terry Vissing, one of the biggest farmers in the land. He does a lot of farming in Clark County, and he said the growing season's been really good. If you've ever taken a drive out in the countryside, I mean, the corn soaring, the soybeans are doing good. And so this is drought.gov, NIDIS, the National Integrated Drought Information System. So this is the 1 meter soil depth in the percentile of moisture, and blue is good. And you can see blue all through the southern half of Indiana and through much of Kentucky and into Tennessee. So we have had a wealth of water this year, and so that has been very good. It's been much drier over the northern half of Indiana, northwestern Ohio. There you can see a lack of soil in that 1 meter of soil, and then dry weather farther out west of Missouri into the Great Plains. So while it has been a nuisance with all of the rain this year, it's been kind of a blessing for the farms and the fields out there. Now, he did say they are starting to get to that point where they're going to need a little more widespread rain for the fields instead of this just isolated stuff that we've been having. I don't see a big chance of that anytime soon. Here's a look at that play ball forecast. 30% chance of that shower or storm for today. 80 at noon, 84 for the afternoon high. And so that's about 5 degrees below normal for this time of the year. And then that's 79 degrees there at 8 p.m. The wind is almost non-existent today. As we bring this up, here's a live look outside with the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera looking towards Louisville. And what is that? The K&I Bridge there, the railroad bridge. Panning off to the east. No, I should say back towards the west. But a mixed sky out there with some clouds, and there's been just a couple little isolated showers around the area. Okay, back to the forecast. Again, there's your play ball forecast. My son's back to tennis. It is tennis season after a bunch of summer golf. I'm so excited for that. First day back to school for my son Brady today. My daughter still gets to sleep in. She heads to IU later this month. UV index, the EPA says 9. I'm not sure if we'll get quite to 9 with the UV index, especially if you have some cloud cover. But if you do get under that direct sunshine, you can still get that sunburn for today. We've got Laura DeVore checking in the comments. Thanks for tuning in here this morning. Some spotty showers again in that forecast summary for today for your August 5th. Our sunset at 8:48. And just, again, a very light and variable wind, partly to mostly cloudy out there for today. And tonight's forecast, 69, upper 60s, probably around low 70s in the urban areas in the city. Can't rule out maybe an isolated shower into the evening time, but mostly dry conditions and just a calm night, sunrise at 6:50. And that forecast for your Wednesday, August the 6th, tomorrow, a lot like today, isolated pop-up shower or storm. Pretty moderate temperatures, seasonably warm, and the humidity is not out of control. 86 for the afternoon high tomorrow. And our sunrise at 6:50, our sunset at 8:47. In the 7-day forecast, again, pretty tame, pretty quiet, pretty typical for this time of the year. 88 for Thursday with, again, a very slight chance of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. And not much to kick things up. So going mostly dry here as well with a little bit hotter conditions on the way. We're up hovering near 90 for this weekend, but not extreme heat for this time of the year. And then lower 90s Monday, Tuesday. I'm not really seeing much in the way of, I'm not going to call it really relief because this isn't like a heat wave where we need the relief. I just don't see any like back to below normal conditions maybe over the next couple of weeks. And as we see that when we go to the weather models here, which we typically do at around 10:20, when we dig into that weather model data, I think you're going to see that as we look at the long run, the bent on a limb segment, I can tease you with that one as well here in just a second. Not much below normal weather Climate Prediction Center calling for above normal conditions. And again, I'll just share this with you real quick. And we'll go on the bin on a limb here, probably around 10 minutes or so. So stick around for that. So there is the forecast. We had a late arrival from Erica. Thank you for tuning in there from Charlestown. No matter when you join on the program. Again, this is your show. You can hop on whenever you want. Maybe it's this afternoon or tonight. Thanks for watching that replay if you're watching a little bit later on today. Laura saying, oh, back to below normal was so nice. Yeah, we're heading back to typical August weather for a while. And Jackie, good morning. I missed you walking into work. It is posted with the wild shirt here if you want to go back and check it out. All right. Either way, thanks for joining the channel here this morning, Jackie. And again, there's another live look. So you can see already this morning, we've got a few cumulus clouds that are growing big enough to produce a little shower here and there. As we bring up the radar view, we had a little shower between Sellersburg and Charlestown, kind of falling apart right there. And then just west of you, French Lick, you've got a shower in your area. And let me go ahead and go out of the full screen view. And this is just a look at that little bit of activity that we had with a few of those clouds growing big enough again to produce just a little bit of precipitation, but not too much. And Jackie's saying, now I see your shirt. I like it. A little loud. Have the best day. It is a little bit loud. We need, the weather's quiet. It's the dog days of summer, the doldrums of summer weather. So why not spice it up a little bit here? All right. Back to the forecast graphics we go. Let's go ahead and look at the future radar here at 10:21. And if you're a regular Ben at 10 viewer, we typically start with the HRRR, the High Resolution Rapid Refresh Weather Model. We'll compare and contrast a little bit. You're getting into the Weather Nerd segment of our program. And then we'll get back to the forecast once again here in just a second. So this is showing a little bit of activity across the area. There's not much out there, though. I'm going to jump this ahead to around 2 o'clock today. And it shows that little isolated shower chance. So I've got it at about a 30% chance of that. This is at 3 p.m. today. And these are very random. There's really just no rhyme or reason where a shower might pop up in this kind of typical summer pattern that we're in here. There's no like storm system that they just pop up when you get warm enough. Got enough humidity, you got enough warmth, a couple of these clouds get big enough to produce a couple of these localized showers or storms. No severe weather with it. Can put down some brief heavy rainfall and maybe a little bit of lightning and thunder as well. This is at 5 p.m. And if you don't get it for several days, you're like, what are you talking about? There's no rain out there. Well, if you're looking at a 20 or 30% chance of rain, that means most of you will miss it. So a lot of this time of the year, it's haves and have-nots as far as that rain chance across the region. So that is, again, the weather model there. Here, we'll go to 6 p.m. And no change, really, to the nature of our weather pattern here with the chance of a few of these pop-up showers and thunderstorms across the area. I'm kind of looking forward to the day. I love summertime. I want summer to continue. That we can, I don't have to say pop up anymore. I can find, once we get to fall, we usually have these fronts that move through and give like the entire area some rain for a portion of the day. And it's not pop up like we're saying all the time in the summertime. So who is looking forward to fall? It's September 22nd, I believe, is the autumnal equinox when fall officially begins. So you're looking at what, like, I don't know, 48 days or something. That's my guess. How many? I'm going to Google. I'm going to use the Google. How many days until fall? 49 days. I was pretty close. 49 days until autumn begins. So who wants summer to roll on and who wants fall to begin? I know my wife's answer. The autumn is her favorite season. So after sunset, most of the activity fades away. That's her weather model for today. Let's go to the NAM 3-kilometer weather model. And we got the reflectivity pulled up here. And while it loads, again, that is the question of the day. Do you want summer to continue or do you want it to wrap up? Let's go to 2 o'clock. Talk amongst yourselves while this loads up. It seems like the internet's just been a little bit slower than normal here for today. As I push the weather model forward in time, again, waiting for this to load up. I do believe it'll show a very similar view. Yes, there we go. I'll bring that up full screen here. So this is the NAM 3-kilometer. We just looked at the HRRR, the high resolution rapid refresh weather model that showed a couple of these little isolated pop-ups, very similar to the NAM 3-kilometer, a couple of high resolution weather models. And Erica, with fall is my favorite season. And my stepmom, Diana Peine, wants summer to continue. I do too. I still haven't had a lot of time to enjoy like the lake and stuff like that. So, or fishing. I don't think I've even fished this year, which is insane. Got to find the time to do that. All right, let's go ahead and back this up here. So there you can see occasional pop-up shower or storm for this afternoon, but a lot of dry time as well if you want to get out into the yard and get busy out there. I also, now that the back is feeling better, I need to get out and start jogging and lifting. I've maybe put on a couple, if you know what I'm saying, from not being able to do a whole lot. Jeanette, love the summer. We've got summer winning so far, 2-1, with spring coming in with 2-1. So I would go summer number 1 still, fall number 2, spring number 3, winter number 4. Fall used to be a 3rd place, but I do like getting out into the woods and cutting wood and starting the fires and the lower humidity. As I get older, fall is starting to creep up in the seasons race. We're talking seasons this morning. Okay. All right, so there is, we just checked out all the weather model data there. This is interesting. It's not quite going full screen. Let me see. There it goes full screen. All right, so let's bring up the Climate Prediction Center. So, okay, yeah, since we're going to do that, we've got to start going into the Ben on a limb. Which means we're going to look at the long range forecast here at 10:27. So the Climate Prediction Center has put this out here today for 6 to 10 day outlook. So this starts to put you past the 7-day forecast. And this is what I was seeing with the long range GFS and the European weather model, is that we're going to get back hovering around 90 degrees, maybe low 90s. So this puts us a little bit above normal in the long range outlook, which just means August is kind of being August, not as extreme as July. I'm not really seeing any fronts from Canada that can really help things out as far as bringing in below normal temperatures through the next couple of weeks. So that is your long range outlook. We're just, we're in summertime. I know school goes back so soon nowadays. It seems like summer's coming to an end, but we're not even close. We still got September to get through with summertime as well. And usually this doesn't give us a whole lot, but this is the 8 to 14 day outlook. So a little bit farther past the 10-day outlook. You're basically 2 weeks out, and it shows overall our region under above normal. So what this communicates is that we have above normal chances of above normal temperatures. So anything in orange or red indicates a warmer weather pattern than normal. So perhaps that's what we'll have for most of the rest of August. So using the AC quite a bit, no doubt about that. And we've got Steve Givens in here with I'd rather mow grass than shovel snow any day here in Kentucky. Hilton Head Island, South Carolina is nice in April and October. And you are 100% correct about all of that. I agree with your opinions here. And Marco Moore, hold on to summer. Yeah, we are holding on to summer, especially with this long range outlook. Good to see you there in the comments, sir. Thanks for tuning in here. And Laura saying mosquitoes are terrible this year. And I would add on bugs in general are terrible this year. I got a buddy, Chase Best, who is a golf course superintendent. So he not only deals with, growing grass as his job, but also dealing with, other pests and bugs. And he says every time he has to get the pesticides out, he blames me. So and it's a reminder too. I haven't done the summer weed and feed in the yard. I've got weeds that have taken over the grass, and it's not really a lawn. It's more of a yard, almost a field is what I would call my yard right now. So there's the long range outlook with the Climate Prediction Center. If you're a storm chaser kind of person, and you want to know where the risk of severe weather is, I like to just check that out every day as well. And no risk of severe weather here. It is up in South and North Dakota, where it typically heads closer to the Canada border this time of the year. That's the day one outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. And then our day two severe weather outlook is minimal up to the northwest of us. Day three, probably nothing, really no risk of severe weather. Level one, way up to the northwest. Quiet summertime pattern. Again, this is when you get what they call the doldrums or the dog days of summer, where it's just kind of a repeatable weather pattern across the region. Future, let me switch this to the GFS weather model. And then real quickly, it has changed its tune. If you remember yesterday and the day before, we were looking like a week and a half from now, next Wednesday, at the potential of a little bit of, below normal humidity, below normal temperatures back into the forecast. Well, I'll jump ahead to next Wednesday. That's going to be the 13th. And it has joined the European weather model, calling for basically no relief from the heat and humidity. And it is showing this as well. We'll see if this actually happens. This is day two. So that would probably be a hurricane. That's interesting. Let's talk tropics here for a second as well. Great weather there in Cloverport, there along the river. Judy Tyndall, thanks for tuning in this morning. So let's back up. Let's see what kind of crazy stuff the GFS is doing here in the tropics. So let's go a day back. So that's the 13th. Let's see, the 12th would be next Tuesday. And so it's got something trying to brew here out towards north of Puerto Rico next Tuesday. Again, we will see if but this is a reminder this time of the year, if you do have vacation plans, we are ramping up to what is typically the peak of hurricane season, which is mid-September. So if I go to the 11th on Monday, and again, this is GFS weather model. See if this moves here. There's a lot of data that is chugging on here. I'm just kind of waiting to see if we can get an update. There's the 11th. Come on. That is the 11th. Let's go to the 10th. Again, just bear with me. Let's go to the 9th, which is Saturday. Okay, so there it's picking up a wave right there in the central Atlantic this weekend. And then, so we get these waves coming off the coast of Africa, and then they can develop into tropical systems. If we go to the 8th, which is Friday, a few days from now, all right, so there's that wave as well out here. So that might be interesting to kind of follow here. And there is a tropical system out there now. As I bring up, oops, I am drawing all over the place. Let's get back to the United States and bring up the active systems that we have. There's a system out there in the Pacific, and then the one in the Atlantic that is not going to bother anybody is right there. That is Tropical Storm Dexter. If you were curious about that one. So that is Tropical Storm Dexter, not all that strong, winds at around 40 miles per hour, moving northeast. And that is well off the coast, the east coast of the United States. So not really bothering anybody there. All right, so I'll bring this up too. Again, if you're curious about tropical weather, let me bring up the World Wide Web as we're taking a tropical detour here. There's our live look outside. And let me bring up the National Hurricane Center. So what they're looking at here is what I was just showing you, this potential development, that wave coming off the African coast. The GFS weather model blows that thing up mid next week into potential hurricane. Big question marks on if that'll happen, but it'll be something interesting to watch. There's a little disturbance off the southeastern coast, a 40% chance of cyclone formation. Cyclone means storm. And then this has a 50% chance of cyclone storm formation over the next 7 days. We've got a tropical wave over far eastern, the tropical Atlantic, currently producing disorganized shower and thunderstorm activity, primarily to the southwest of the wave axis. Environmental conditions are forecast to be conducive for gradual development during the next few days. A tropical depression could form late this week or over the weekend as the system moves generally west-northwest across the central tropical or subtropical Atlantic. So that'll be something interesting to watch. But as you can see, it is hurricane season ramping up. We've got Laura saying, going to the mountains in September, and I would normally say no danger of hurricane there, but last year showed us different. Yeah, that was crazy with the flooding in the Appalachians. I mean, we've had impacts here from hurricanes as well. Was that Ike back in 2008 that caused all those power outages? That was during the Ryder Cup at Valhalla, like that week before. Crazy windstorm there. All right, it is 10:38 now, and let's get back to the forecast since we've been rambling on here. I I showed this earlier. I'll show you this. So I recently joined Indiana Wildlife Group. So now I get all these fun Indiana wildlife pictures showing up. This is from Clark County, Indiana. A lot of people don't know that a spider can grow this big in Indiana, and it's a fishing spider. They're like as big as a tarantula, bigger than a wolf spider. And I've seen one in my backyard before, and they actually, I believe, can catch fish. But the mama spider here had a huge nest in the barn in Clark County. That is where the nest is, right there. So a lot of people were saying, burn that, burn that thing down.